First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God.
Mic check 1 2. Good morning.
First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant. Grateful to be with you. Always grateful to be in your company. It is another beautiful day. Always here jamming with you, being able to talk about what we are from a national perspective. If this is the first time you're tuning in with me, my name is Howard Grant. Hart. I hear one woman call me Hart. H-A-R-T. 7 hours. Hot. I'm not gonna fight a Howard Grant, guys. I'll be jamming with you, always being able to do what we're doing and talk about national issues from growth and development, being able to do that. This is The Foundation. Always happy to have you. Today is a Friday evening. Bim, warm and easy selector. Hope you guys are good out there. I hope everything is good with you. I don't know if you had an opportunity to be able to pick up your newspaper. I don't know if you had an opportunity to be able to pick up the national newspaper wherever you are. Some persons are out in the Family Islands. Some persons don't necessarily do that on a day-to-day basis. There are some places that you can get that. In Grand Bahama, as you listen to me on Dove 103.7 in Grand Bahama, and wherever you are online, if you're out of the country and whatnot, you want to be able to keep up with these things. Of course, you can just be able to go online and pick this stuff up. There's no problem. You can be able to find this stuff. But there's a lot of things going on in the country right now. I got to be able to touch some things. And so we can have a conversation for national growth and development. It's a beautiful day. And I'm grateful to be here another day, another time. Today's May 22nd, 2026. And it is the midday. So it's time for us to be able to do our thing in this kind of a space. There's a lot going on, guys. Make sure you be able to, like I said, pick up your papers. There's some places that you can get that paper in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama really gonna need its own thing. Talk to me. I'm advocating and I'm pushing so we can be able to get some stuff that's uniquely Grand Bahamian and affording an opportunity to be able to make those things happen. There's a demographic that is being left behind, and there's this kind of an excuse that's being made to say, well, you know, traditional media is dying and traditional news is dying. A lot of people could pick up their papers on that. No. You need to make a special effort to ensure. And the thing is that these things create jobs. So you want to be able to make a special effort to employ and ensure that these persons are working on a consistent basis. So I'm advocating and really hoping that we have an opportunity to be able to do that and do it specifically and do it in a big way in Grand Bahama. We can wait for these things to happen and we can see exactly what's going on. All right. But we're out here, guys, and we're jamming with you wherever you're listening to us from. We hope that you are good. We hope that you are good, and we're out here trying to be able to make sure that you're good, man. Let's do it. All right, guys, if you want to be able to join me in conversation today, I'd love you to do so. You can be able to hit me up today. The numbers are 827-0111 is right across the screen right down here. 827-0111, 827-0111, as we continue to be able to talk about issues from a national positions, I suppose. I don't know if everything is an issue, but we're really talking about national growth and development, trying to be able to identify those things and do what we must. All right. Like I said, guys, if you want to be able to join me, please do so. 827-0111. There's a tremendous amount of things in the papers. We're going to go post-election synopsis for some time. We're going to be able to evaluate those things, and I don't want to become bored by having that conversation. I think all of us know what the layout is, who the winners are. We already did finish with that. Now we're looking at the next step to evaluate whether or not this administration is on target, on course to be able to fill that blueprint for progress that they put out, so we can be able to identify that. You know what? I can be honest with you. I have not gotten one of those, I have a blueprint for change, but I've never gotten a blueprint for progress. I got to pick up one. I'm sure they have one online somewhere, right? But I got to be able to pick up that blueprint for progress to see exactly what's what. In the papers today, Pintard called out Cartwright's snub. Miller, Free National Movement leader. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about these things in the paper this morning. Right now, you could be able to look at in the Tribune this morning, and you could be able to see some stuff. When we look at the Tribune this morning, we could be able to identify some things that's going on and being able to talk about that. Let's do that with clarity right now. Let's see if we could be able to make some sense out of these things. In the papers this morning, Miller, Free National Movement leader, treatment of the party's deputy leader, spiteful and mean-spirited. Former Cabinet Minister Leslie Miller accused the Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard of being mean-spirited and spiteful yesterday, questioning why the opposition leader did not appoint Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright to the Senate after the Free National Movement bruising general election defeat. Right, Mr. Pintard, who retained his Marco City seat, appointed 4 senators after the May 12th election. Former NBA player Rick Fox, attorneys Ellsworth Johnson and Arinthia Komalafe, and Dr. Trevor Johnson. Mr. Cartwright, who lost to the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate, they should say new candidate, Cartwright, a senior in the Free National Movement with tenure in the organization and significant position, lost to newcomer Progressive Liberal Party candidate for the constituency of St. James, lost to Owen Wells. If I was writing it, I would have structured it in a particular manner. Praise God. It didn't say that. It says Mr. Cartwright, who lost the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate Owen Wells in the newly created St. James constituency, was not among them. Let's read it. Let's go to page 5 and see exactly what's what. And let's have a good conversation about it. Let's talk about it. Page 5. Here we go. And so page 5 goes on to be able to say, it says the decision has drawn criticisms from some who see it as an attempt to sideline Mr. Cartwright. Mr. Miller and Mr. Pintard's decision raised questions about the leadership and treatment of the senior figures in his party. It goes further to say that I just see the leader of the opposition as a mean-spirited person on his actions as leader to the Free National Movement, has proven that over and over and over again. That's what he's proven over and again. That's what he says. This is Leslie Miller says. So Mr. Cartwright represented St. Barnabas from May 10th, 2017 until 2026 general election. The Free National Movement won only 8 seats in the election. Mr. Miller said that Mr. Cartwright never told him he wanted a Senate appointment. But he believed that the former MP would have accepted one. Mr. Miller also pointed to former Minister Administration Desmond Bannister and Renbert Wells, whom he believes were treated unfairly. He alleged that Mr. Pintard pushed to remove them from the frontline politics. The Tribune asked them, Mr. Pintard, why he did not appoint Mr. Cartwright to the Senate, but he declined to comment. They asked Pintard. He declined to comment. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do what we just do best. Let's call Leslie. That's what we just do here. Don't fight me. If it's your first time tuning in, we just dry call people, and either they accept or they reject. We're going to call Leslie Miller to find out his position. Let me see if I can get Leslie Miller. Leslie's not expecting a call from me. This is what we would have done, dry calling people. This is not recommended. If you're in media, you want to be able to let people know in advance exactly what's what. I know Leslie for a long time. Either he can take my call or he's not. Let's check it out and see exactly what's what. Leslie Miller. This is Howard Grant. What's happening with you? You busy? I won't put you on air. I'm on air right now. I want to know if you want to talk 2 seconds for this headline. You could talk? All right, hold on. Let me plug you in, then you say good afternoon to the people. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to none other than Leslie Potcake Miller here with us. Lucky. He is here with us, jamming. We're here live. We're talking to Grand Bahama. So you're live in Grand Bahama, 103.7 FM in Grand Bahama, and you're live across social media. My brother, say good morning to the people out there.
Good afternoon, my fellow Bahamians, especially in Grand Bahama. I trust that you all get the benefits of the purchase of that new Saturday that the Prime Minister then voted. The electricity company gonna get reduced. The price gonna get reduced by some 40%.
37%. 37%. You can round it off to 3, but it's 37.
From 40. I think about 23%. That's a 40.
That's 23%. I can fight you for the 3.
27%. That was what they got now.
I'm not gonna fight you for the 3%.
Small merchants, you know.
Praise God. But listen here.
Exactly.
2 things. First thing, you're supposed to come sit with me on Wednesday. I didn't see you.
Huh?
You were supposed to come sit with me on Wednesday. I didn't see you.
I kept looking for you.
I was in the next
I called
side.
the brothers. I didn't see you nowhere.
Yeah.
I was there.
I was right there where all the politicians were coming in.
Where
Where the politicians were coming in, I was on that side, over on the eastern side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But listen, talk to me about this. In the papers this morning, they say Leslie Miller accused Pintard of being mean-spirited and spiteful over this position where Shenandoah did not get appointment. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Well, because as Dave and I went door to door in most of the communities that we dealt with, which is most of New Providence, women especially were very concerned about the manner in which Mr. Pintard was treating his fellow F&M former parliamentarians and former ministers of the government. Mm-hmm. They were afraid of him. Mm-hmm. They were afraid that if he was to get to the levels of government, the levers of government, they don't know what will happen.
Really?
And that is a fact. I said that years ago. That there's something innately in him that scares people. It scared the hell out of me. Mm-hmm. And the podcast don't be scared of nothing. He scares me because I think people realize the damage he could have done to their lives, to those who could not have defended their own position, was not a politician, was not one of the muckle, just a regular, ordinary Bahamian. If you wanted to victimize you, he'd probably run you on the ground. And that frightened a lot of women that Dave and I talked to in their homes. They were concerned about him.
That's a serious thing that you see, but you know politics very well in this country, Leslie. So let's shoot
Been
straight.
there all my life.
Let's shoot straight. Shannon has always presented a threat to the leadership of the Free National Movement.
There ain't no threat no more.
He has gone in unopposed in his capacity as deputy leader at their last convention, 2024.
Yes.
He enjoys a great deal of support within the organization. He has shown himself very tenacious in being able to grab the mace and throw it out the window. He has shown himself a very strong opponent, and a lot of persons are starting to look at him as leader. This defeat,
A decent human being, very honorable, loves people, and people love him.
but this defeat has done something for the security of those other leaders who have aspirations in the Free National Movement. It has secured them that they don't have to worry about him no more. So why would they re-invite him or invite him back into a space that he has been rejected? Talk to me.
The FNM saving grace is going to be Rollins, my good buddy there. Rollins going to take out on Pintard.
You think so?
Nothing going to break with that. Oh, yeah.
But does
Rollins
that...
is excellent on his feet. He go off the rails from time to time,
Okay.
but he's not going to allow Pintard to dictate to him as a young man who's in there before Pintard was.
Now, the Free
Don't forget,
National Movement...
He was in Parliament Russell 212, you know.
I remember.
Okay.
And he walked the floor.
That's where his fight is going to come from. It's come from him and the lady who, what's the name of? The
Arenthia.
two names there. Whatever.
Arenthia Komalafe.
No, I think it'd be no trap. The only one in Parliament that'll be the trap.
Michaela Barnett Ellis.
Yeah, the Senator's ain't no threat.
Michaela Barnett Ellis.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
going to be
good.
a threat to him too.
I like how you call it the lady, because you're getting problems with this before. He's a good man.
And I don't know, she's so picky. Oh, I'm so and so. You know?
You need to stop it, Leslie. You need to stop it.
She thinks she is Queen Mary, you know.
Gee.
I got to treat her, son. I'm just a regular brother on the blocks
Praise
from
God.
McCullough Corner, you know.
Praise God. So you think she's going to be a threat? The Free National Movement needs some restructuring. They need to be able to reposition
have
themselves to find how they move forward towards leadership. Your guy who you're calling, who says is going to be a significant threat, he is very abrasive. He is very tenacious. He knows how to be able to. He's a go-getter. But does the FNM need that? They need a unifier. Does he have what it takes to unify the organization, to bring people back who've left, to bring people who are indifferent, the 60-some thousand people who may support the Free National Movement, who did not support them in the last election? Does he have, or any one of these particular persons, have what it takes to pull these people back in the organization? What are your thoughts?
You know, the greatest leader that ever happened, that the FNM had was Human Inc. And he came from the PLP. I don't know why they didn't learn from him and embrace all aspects of Bahamian culture. You know, that's a mistake Minister made. Minister in his latter days that he's going to give it to 4 black people next time. So you took care of the great whites first. Then you look at the brothers and sisters next time. There's an attitude that is so unbecoming that the average, I'm talking with the pot kids, cannot relate to them. They see them as an extension of the old UBP, where these guys cater to a certain sect of society, and that's who they cater to the death of the average man on the street. And it's wrong. They just have to re-embrace themselves. You have to get together and try to learn from the elders. I mean, a man like the former deputy leader, the Minister of Works,
Desmond Bannister.
Desmond Bannister, decent human being, who got work from PLP and FNMs. Why would you discard it? Why? Just because you have the power to do it? That turn off PLP and FNMs, people see that this guy is so ruthless. If he would kill his own, what do you think he'd do to us?
Well,
I'm telling you, women were saying that in their homes.
Well, then let's do this then. And let's be fair to the process. The PLP in 2017 has identified a great deal of senior leadership, a great deal of identifiable faces, such as Shane Gibson, and they've decided to separate themselves from that for this new era. They brought in a lot of young people. They brought in a lot of new faces, talented persons, so forth and so on. But that doesn't mean some people like yourself or Shane Gibson or others doesn't have what it takes to be able to still lead various constituencies, so forth and so on. But the PLP separated. It seems like, though, is a strategy. So do you think that this may be the same strategy that the FNM is trying to be able to enact?
Which factors in the FNM? You got a leader there who is still leading. He lost 3 in a row, 2 by-election and the big one. I think what really happened is, as I reflect back on all those times we've been up there day and night, 7 days a week, there was a total disconnect between the FNM candidates and the people that they were dealing with. Most of them were lazy as hell. They didn't go door to door. Many of them relied on social media now. The average person, whether they believe it or not, is a hook on social media. A fellow like me, when I play with my phone, I look at it. But that don't affect me. But some of them did all that campaigning on social media. They never really got into the hearts and minds of the average voter there who's waiting to have a conversation with someone. You have to listen to them. See what they have to say. See what affects their lives in a meaningful way. And then build your system around them. Build what you want to capitalize on and say, this is what you can do for you. The man care like, this how you can give your children a better future. They had no plan. All they was doing was criticizing the PLP. They never came up with any comprehensive plan that could assist the average Bahamian. It just didn't happen.
Let's talk about this now.
I admit that the fight between Dr. Minnis and the fellow was a vicious one. And one had to die, and of course, Minnis bite the bullet and Minnis is gone. You wouldn't hear from him no more.
I don't think he bite the bullet. I think he catch one. I don't think he bite the bullet. I think he catch one. And I think that's it for him.
He caught a lot of bullets.
Maybe.
I really thought that the good lady, Dr. What's her name, of the dentist,
MacGyver,
was going to secure sufficient votes.
Dr. MacGyver.
From FNM.
Yeah.
And some PLPs, that she would have had about 600-800 votes. And the PLP candidate would have slipped in. That was my understanding, because we played back.
We talked about this. Area. We talked about that.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
Yeah.
That we thought that she would have gotten at least 600, 650 votes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Minnis would have actually ended up with 1,000 votes. But
I know Minnis was going to lose this. You got to realize now, a lot of FNMC hated him too, eh? Because, them fellas who had contract with the government, when he took 6 months away from now, 8 months away from that contract, and they depended on that.
But you still
they were mad as hell.
You can't hate the man 4 or 5 years later. You let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You got to let it go at some point.
Fellas hate you and they go to the grave.
Jesus,
they asked God, give me one more. They're going to go kill him before I got back here.
But Leslie, let's talk about this now. Let's talk about this before you go out of here. Let's talk about this. I know you're busy, but let's talk about this before you leave. The Progressive Labour Party has put out an agenda, a concept, an idea to be able to see the country move towards progress. They have made some significant moves. We've seen Leslie get in a position. We've seen Sabas get in a position. We've seen the pushback. We've seen all these particular things. What needs to happen now in the Progressive Labour Party for the country to be able to at least give them an opportunity to enact this thing? They gave them the mandate, but we're getting social pushback. How can we at least take a breather and allow this administration to be able to move and do their thing?
Productivity must now take place. People are now looking to see some tangible benefits from the cabinet that they have. I think you need to give Mr. Davis a chance to get himself together, get the group together. I was glad that he didn't take a post, that he's not now Minister of Finance. Give it to a very capable man, the person of Mike Alcides. Give them 3 to 6 months to get themselves together. Some of them don't even have office yet. They're now going looking for office space.
Yeah.
So, give them that time frame. And the one thing with Philip Davis, he's an affable fella. Anybody could get to him because he's a regular fella from the blocks. He thinks like the average man. Whereas the leader of FNM, the FNM thinks like the big boys. His attitude that people reject. People reject that type of voice. They want a fella like me, the fella from the blocks. They want to see themselves in the mirror. They don't want to see this standoff-looking fella saying that he represents me because you do not represent the aspirations or the aspirations of their children. All babies want really, is a better life, All they want is that I wake up every morning at 6 o'clock, catch a shower, get my children ready to school. I go to work on demand job. You give me about $400 a week, maybe 500. I heard you. But just give me a life that I could appreciate, that my children could appreciate, and that they could strive to be somebody in this world. That's all average fella I'm looking for, The fella wants you to give him no car. He don't want you to build him a house. He wants you to give him opportunity that his children could be in a better position than he finds himself in today. That's all it is. Simplicity.
I like it.
But these guys go above and on, and it gets him in trouble. Stay in the heartbeat of the people that you have the privilege of representing in the halls of Parliament. When you deviate and go to this crew, the big time crew, the fellas with the money, the fellas who own these things, they're only using you for their own benefits. They could give a damn if the payments never wake up again. As long as the money on their account, they're happy. You cannot represent that status quo. You can't do it.
Well, Leslie Miller,
Yes,
I like it. I like what you did. Next week we get on the rundown again. You available Tuesday or Wednesday? You want me to call you?
Until all of my buddies and me trying to buy my other puppy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I always can be that portrait.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay, you too, man. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Leslie Osborne, Portcake, Lucky Miller. You get more name. Whatever you name your dog, that's Leslie's name. Praise Jesus. Leslie's here being able to talk to us about those things. I like it. I like that kind of a conversation. But truly, I just want to be able to identify this is a great deal of politics associated with this. I don't want you all to see this as, remember that even though that there is an opinion from those that oppose, this is still politics. Remember, this political thing that doesn't stop, okay? After the opening of the House, after the appointments, after you've identified which strategic position you're going to be in, after you've been empowered by the Prime Minister, after you get your instruments of office to operate in the capacity that you have, ministerial, parliamentary secretary, in your executive capacity, wherever you get to go, this is still politics in this country. Remember that. I don't think that this is a relentless opposition of the man, but there is a mandate to ensure that you retain a position for those that you support and that supports you. That's just politics, baby. Don't fight it. And if you can't see anything through that, if you're still abrasive, if you believe that there's going to be kumbaya, they will never be kumbaya when there's two opposing views. That's why it's a difficult thing to be able to have. And I think that the day and age that we're in, the advent and the accessibility for education for all, the issue that we're having, can I say this? Is it okay to talk like this? The issue that we're having with significant reduction in marriages, significant increase in divorces, even within the church, is education has placed you in a position where you have elevated yourself above the position that the Father has called us to. My God, I'm getting preachy. I got to calm down, but I can deal with you. I can deal with it for 2 seconds. When we pray, we never pray for education. Let's just be very clear, okay? We never say, Father, give me education. Now, you assume that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding are elements that find themselves wrapped in education, but that's not so. These are divine things, and if you look at them, they're gifts. You can't earn it. They're gifts. Education is the retention of information and the ability to regurgitate at a strategic time. That's all education is. Wisdom, you don't retain that. It's almost like an impartation, and now you decipher situations based upon this impartation. Now you could be able to move in the direction that you've been called to move in with wisdom. These things are given to us by God. We pray for wisdom, for knowledge, for understanding. When Solomon prayed, he said, help me to know, to understand, help me to be able to lead your people. Show me what I got to do. The Holy Spirit teaches us these things. I can talk to you all like this because it's a Christian station and a Christian space, so we can have a very clear conversation. The acquisition, the pursuit and acquisition of education has liberated this tapped into the carnal aspect of our mind. I dare to say that the proverbial apple was education. My God, I just get preachy. I got to calm down. The proverbial apple that was bitten in Genesis, at the beginning, at the inception of our lives, of this existence, the proverbial apple that was bitten was an apple of education. Now, you don't, how about education ain't the devil? And no. It's just like a vehicle ain't a devil. You start the vehicle, it was responsible for being able to take you from one place to another. But it still could be able to lead you to different territories. And it could still be a vehicle that actually hurts someone or hurt yourself, depending on how you use these things. Okay? Now, when we look at this thing here and we identify these things, the one thing that we've identified, the one thing that I've identified, and that I'd like to talk to you about is this sort of an idea of the acquisition of education. And I believe that as a result of the acquisition of education being readily available to all of us, man, women, little girl, boy, whatever, it doesn't matter. It placed all of us from a carnal perspective on the same playing field. There's a rejection of the traditional elements in the Word of God. In fact, I told you before, there is someone at the former radio station that I was working with that says to me, and I start to talk the way that I'm talking now, they would say to me, Howard, I can't believe that you have these archaic views. Archaic views? Yeah, these mosaic views. These mosaic views. These are etched and inscribed into time and history. These are unmovable. This is the Word of God. How the Word of God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. The Word of God. I am the Word, and the Word is with me in the beginning. There was the Word, and the Word was life. The Word was with God. Come on, how can I separate myself from God? And it don't make no sense talking to these people about these things because they don't know nothing but God. They ain't into that. They into the acquisition of education. And once they get education, they can present that accordingly and show you their qualification on paper with their resume and so forth and say, I deserve this particular opportunity. We have given people who just regurgitate and repeat their reading, writing, arithmetic, significant positions in this country, and they have no discernment. They have no insight. They have no preparation for these particular things. When we look at this and we look at all these particular things, we have to start to understand that all this is politics. Don't be afraid of it. All this is politics. But we as a people need to be able to have enlightenment. We have to have discernment. Oh God. Okay? We have to have discernment. I got a book. I got a bunch of books. I went on this kind of a spree. I must have been on $300 on books one day. I buy some books from Amazon. Bunch of books. I bought a book on capitalism. I bought a book on the art of war, right? I bought a book on power and his acquisition. I bought a book on all these things, and I start to read the books. And then I get into the first chapter. I promise you, I get into the first chapter, and I said, I can't read this book. Honest to God, I'm telling you the truth. I said, I can't read this book. There's at least 4 or 5 books I picked up. Capitalism. I picked up a book on capitalism. I picked up a book on the art of war, right? I picked up a book on maximizing your time. I picked up a bunch of these books that people would talk about and say that this helped them significantly. And as I started to read the book, I realized that these books are etched in religious principles that go contrary to the biblical principles that I've ingested and accepted. I can't even get no amen. There's Christian people out there reading these things and they're telling you how to lie and strategically place yourself in a position and how to deceive and how. This is what the book teaching you. This is the art of war. I said, I can't read this book. I can't read this book. This ain't for me. This ain't for me. This is the art of war. Now, if you're paying attention and you got discernment in the spirit, you'd realize that a lot of things that's happening in this country is as a result of being able to take in this exact same information in these books, these principles in these books. There's the only way that Michael Pintard could be able to identify is not through observation, is through a very clear understanding of principles. What Michael Pintard has written in his book, Politics, was not only observations socially, they're associated with principles. You could enact that and identify that as principles for politics in this region. They used it, it was used against him, but these are principles for politics in the entire region. And dare I say, West African principles associated with politics. These are political principles that he didn't just pull out of himself. These elements existed long before we was here. All we do in our time is identify it and put it down on the paper. We see it, we label it, we put it down. I said because they have existed long time. And if you don't have that kind of discernment to know, you'll fall for anything. You got to be sharp, and you can't be sharp if you ain't sober. That's why the Bible says you got to be sober-minded in your approach to being able to deal with these things. Let's shoot straight. In your approach to be able to deal with these things, you have to be sober-minded. This politics thing is going to go on for some time. The opposition is going to come strong with these things, but I have to tell you something. There are two elements to customer service. I got to show you this, and I got to stretch a show out for this so you could understand this. I learned this. There are two elements of customer service, okay? There's internal customer service. That means within the organization, within your family, within the confines of your church, within your job, your business. There's customer service, how we treat each other inside here. That's internal customer service. And then there's external customer service, how we treat others who we engage in these particular spaces. Michael Pintard is enthralled. He is consumed. He is swallowed up in an internal battle that has not been identified, not been acknowledged, not been tapped into. But any of us who understand the two elements of customer service and we apply it to any principle of our lives, we realize that this internal fight that he's having is a significant one. Michael Pintard has, just like Leslie Miller said, lost 3 major battles. Now, he could say he lost the first battle, which was the by-election, and you could easily and comfortably say, well, we lost that battle, but not the war. He lost the second battle in 25. And you could easily say, well, we lost the battle, but not the war. The war is coming. Now, any platoon, army, squadron, understand that this leader did not have the strategies to be able to even give us a significant dent in these particular positions in the first 2 battles. There could be no expectation that he could be able to find victory. The Free National Movement was leaning significantly on the idea of victory by the rhythm that existed in our country before. And they ain't paying no attention of what was happening in the past 10 years. No attention. I'm absolutely baffled by anyone who thought that the Free National Movement was going to win 30 seats. I'm absolutely baffled. I know that you are absolutely disconnected in this country. You're disconnected. And I don't say that to be condescending to you. I could understand that people are cautiously optimistic. I could understand that people retain the support for their organization. But when you start to be able to charge the atmosphere as though you're a false prophet in such a manner with a sense of assurity that this will happen, and it doesn't happen, people start to look at you funny now. Because you were trying to be able to become apostolic in your position and making a declaration of what should happen and what will happen as though you're speaking in the position of God, and everyone could tell you the sentiment of man that exists on the ground, that they're going in a particular direction. So we could watch all of this. And in watching all of this, the Free National Movement decided to stay with them, stay with their leader, and they lost a third battle. The Free National Movement has the decision to make. And this decision is, do we retain Michael or do we reject Michael? Michael has already had, and if we can have this kind of a conversation, I think we should. Michael has already had a significant position, right? And I can't call it Michael alone, but Michael is a leader and people move from a directive of the leader. Shenandoah has been slighted on many occasions in the organization over the past 3 years. Shenandoah has been slighted in the organization over the past 3 years. I could give you every inflection socially where I've identified that Shenandoah has been slighted. I'm sure I could show you where the deputy leader of the organization has had 2 steps behind leadership and 2 steps, and I say leadership, which includes Michael Pintard and Dwayne Sands. We could sit here and start to talk about the internal fight associated with who wanted who at what point and where for leader, for deputy leader, for chairman. I could say this to you. I could say through it all, Shenandoah held his own. I could tell you that Shenandoah was between a rock and a hard place. I could tell you that. He could not decide to stay in St. Barnabas anymore. His political career would have been done. There is no way he could have beat Michael Halkitis. There's no way. There is no way he could have beat Michael Halkitis. There was no way. No way. And him moving to St. James was a good move. For all intents and purposes, was an excellent move before we knew who the PLP have chosen to put in St. James. As soon as we understand who Owen Wells was, it was done. He was finished, but he had already made the decision that this is where he's going to go. He hadn't shown up. He wasn't on the ground. He didn't touch people. None of these things. All of this happened. He was leaning on the grace and the idea that showed up at the last 2 elections, general elections, of people rejecting the government of the day. That didn't happen. Shenandoah Cartwright is now out of the House of Assembly, Upper Andover House. He is out. He showed up to the front of the House of Assembly the other day, and because of his capacity in the organization, he demands and cameras gravitate towards him, but he has no position. Not here. His position is in the Council of the Free National Movement. And so when he takes on this kind of a position of being able to speak, a lot of us can start asking questions, but Bala, why are you in a senator? Because I don't believe that this is what the Free National Movement wants going forward. Now, we could question why they put Arinthia in a particular capacity, and then we could identify how much time Arinthia would have won or lost. We could question why they would put Ellsworth Johnson, who would have just lost again in the constituency of Yamacraw. At the beginning, at the onset, we thought that he had it. Can I say this to you? At the onset, before all the Safe with Brave, before all of this, we believed that he had it. Can I say this to you? You don't want to hear this. At the onset, we believed that Ellsworth Johnson had the thing. At the onset. But after the rollout of Safe with Brave, after the rollout of comparison to leadership, after the rollout of being able to see the consistency and the tenacity and the growth of a campaign that the PLP was pushing, and then seeing the F&M shift their campaign almost 3-4 times mid-campaign, we knew he couldn't win no more. He couldn't win no more. Every seat that needed leadership to support them, every seat that needed a good word, a vision, a determination, a direction from the F&M leadership lost because Michael Pintard did not offer that. Now, Michael Pintard, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the party's doing in terms of being him retaining this position. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. And I don't know what this new F&M can look like. But if you're looking for Orinthia as leader, wrong decision. No way. I never expected to win when I was in the DNA. That wasn't the objective. The objective when I was in the DNA, I needed to show you my skill. You didn't know me. I needed to get out there. I needed to put my organizational skills to work. I needed to put my history, what I had. I needed to put my articulation to work. I needed to put my customer service to work. I needed to put everything that I've amassed over this particular time to work so you could be able to see that there is a significant value and talent in me and afford me an opportunity to be able to move in difference. I didn't think that I would win this time. And if the DNA had stayed steadfast, of course I would have been next time. But the DNA did not stay steadfast, not in the consistent way that they expected to be, that we expected it to be. I left. Ruthie Gomalafte, in her particular capacity, may not have seen victory for the DNA, but she didn't show the tenacious, vivacious, this exuberant, relentlessly optimistic character. And she didn't show a flicker of magnetism in a leadership capacity. People did not gravitate to her. People did not move towards her. People, in fact, they were rejected. They were turned away from her. This is the battleground that you show your skill set for you to be able to be elevated to the big boy seat. And she did not do that. She left on a sour note. She left her responsibilities in terms of what they would have entrusted her with. She left it to kind of rot. It is gone now. Rudy Dean have it. And he said that they would run it. They ain't running. They ain't doing nothing. And now you put her in a position. I told you all that she could not win. Carmichael. You want to say, I think she got. You could not. I don't know where else to get to. I just talk to these people directly. Who people you talk to? Whoever to sit under them tent, under the tree, play backgammon and domino in strategic positions, and I talking to these people. I talking to the people who in the constituency and people has come and congregate amongst them. That's who I talking to. I'm not talking to a random person on the side of the road. I talking to where the people is congregate in the constituency. If 17 of y'all is sitting this one place every single day, that means that everyone is coming here to bring information. I don't have to go to every door. I go in right there where the information hub is in the constituency. We have touched those hubs. Garth is very good by getting to those hubs. Very good. Garth went to the hubs and we got our assessment. We knew what was what. We told you all what was in the air. We told you what was in the air. We told you that Southern Shores was in the air. We was not sure about Golden Isles. We told you in the air. We told you that Yamacraw was in the air. We told you that Marathon was in the air. We told you this. We told you this. I told you that it was going to be 26 seats for the PLP on the low. But if they had done well, we expect them to get 32 seats. You watch me do that. You watch me do the math. You watch me break these particular things down. I told you what we would have heard. This is our expectations. They win 33 seats. People got to retire. And then you pull Jesus Christ into this. You need to stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You're sitting out here telling me Jesus Christ said that these people are going to win. You all need to stop it, man. You all need to stop it. Stop it. If this was a different time he was in, you would have been in the city square. St. Stephen. Oh my God, you'd have been a martyr. What happened to St. Stephen? Oh, you would have been like like you would have come from Haiti. We have to stop this foolishness, guys. We have to be transparent. We have to understand our responsibilities. We have to understand what's happening. And you have to look through some people and be able to be discerning. You can't get discernment without being able to tap into spirituality. You don't get to that unless you're sober-minded. Sober, be sober in your thinking. Sober-minded. You got to be able, you can't be inebriated, you can't be drunk off your own idea and there's sort of an egotistical position and believe that you're high and mighty. There are some people right now in politics who find themselves elevated in their own minds and their hearts. They will be pulled down. They will be pulled down in this season. If you have any attention, if you have any discernment and you're paying any attention, the very first thing, even at the introduction on the day of election, was the exposure of corrupt elements and individuals strategically placed within the fabric of our leadership in this country. On the day, listen to me, let's just be decent and have a good conversation. On the day of election, that plane could have fallen in the water, crashed, died. We never see none of these people. Never, ever, ever. Let's talk like this. We're just talking straight and clean and clear. Now, if you're a thief, this can rub you the wrong way. If you're a murderer, you're a drug dealer, you're a thief, this can rub you the wrong way. Just prepare. Let's be decent. On the day of election, this plane could have gone down, 11 people missing, and we just give up the fight 2 days ago. Stop looking for them. Hope to God somebody pop up and we could be able to give them a proper burial. Our plane could have gone down, both blows in this plane, and this has happened many times in this world. So we believe that it could happen again. God will not allow you to die when it's time to be able to unearth that darkness that you would have carried for a long time. It's time for you to be punished on this side before you get to the next. For the lives that you destroy, for the systems that you've manipulated with people falling to the temptations that you present before them, financial and otherwise. You have to answer for this because you knew better than this. Man lived the whole time and he was drunk in his thinking because he couldn't think to throw this thing away and all his idea away and that away and this away. He couldn't think to do none of that. All he could have think, let's keep this money on me and the name of the person on there. If anything, this election has shown me in the introduction thereof is that this season, this dispensation, this time, this 10-year for the PLP will be a 10-year that the Father has released in this earth to be able to eradicate corruption in the Bahamas. Can I get an amen? I can't get an amen. And just as Minister said in 2017, let the chips fall where they may. That was his verbal, carnal pronouncement so you could get claps and cheers on Government House. But the Word of God and the Father in his divinity as the author and the finisher of our faith has released in our minds and those who discern on the day of election that this will be a dispensation that we will eradicate corruption. You already didn't start it 2 years ago. We will eradicate the injustices. We will eradicate these things. The segregation that exists that kept people on one side and limp, not given opportunities to be able to get to a position of growth and development, we will eradicate those things. And there is nothing that any of us could have done to bring this forward without fear for our life. God did this. Oh, Howard, I don't believe in God. Okay, I'm not going to fight you. You do your thing. And I can do mine. You see the knob? You can turn the knob. We can be decent. This will be an eradication. And no matter who is in the position, they will be taken down. The legacy of this prime minister will be wrapped in whether or not he prosecuted to the nth degree those persons who present themselves. I hearing people telling me, oh, how it can be a by-election. They calling all kind of people named to me. You know, I ain't gonna repeat that. Howard say, me? Me? I don't know. Well, I ain't say nothing. I hear everything though. Let's talk about that. Let's read these particular things and see exactly what's what, guys. Hit me up, 827-0111, 827-0111. If you want to be able to be a part of the conversation, I'd love you to do so. It says, some of them online saying that is not a big deal. I think people forgot Brave said a while ago in the House of Assembly that his plans was to take out the deputy and chairman and almost take out the leader. Excuse me. Brave got 2 out of 3. My God, that's 66%. And that's how much he get in the... How much people vote? 66.8%. 2 out of 3 is 66.3%. This is Howard. I am shocked that Penn did not win Southern Shores. That probably showed that Penn was not connecting the seam because she lost by a small margin. I didn't expect her to win after I saw the Safe with Brave campaign. I'm telling you the truth. I did not expect her to win after I saw the Safe with Brave campaign. They allowed Obi Roberts, if you watch his last speech, he didn't say not one word about him. He mentioned maybe his father once. He didn't say nothing but him. He didn't say Obi, no. His entire speech in Southern Shores was about Brave and how you're safe with Brave. Patricia peppered significantly inside her speech how you're safe with Brave. Bacchus, how you're safe with Brave. You see the trend? You don't even see the trend. You see the play? They needed some candidates who numerically was lower to be able to remind people that this race is not for me and my opponent. This race is a leadership race, and we're assisting Brave in getting over that line. Because we believe that we're safe with Brave. These people got over. Hello. Let's go. 827-0111, 827-0111. 827-0111, 827-0111. Let's look at these things and see exactly what's what. So it says they were drinking their own water, their own Kool-Aid, Howard. Anyone could see that the PLP just had too many popular candidates who was going to be successful regardless of the Brave being popular. Then we had Brave's popularity that pulled those who were weaker across the finish line. That's what happened. The PLP was strategic. The choice of Owen Wells was a strategic choice. Y'all don't want to have this kind of a conversation. You want to talk about other things. Guys, we're coming up on 1 o'clock. Let me take this quick commercial break. When we get back, we can dive deeper into the newspaper and seeing exactly what inner city voter turnout the lowest. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, and let's see if we can pontificate about what this means and move forward like that. All right, guys, quick break. Going to be right back after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Foundation with Howard Grant. Right here live and in full effect, being able to jam with you and being able to talk about these things. I was trying to get Garth. I think he's busy today. But we're talking with you today and just being able to identify a few things. Numbers dipped to 50% range over the Hill constituencies in New Providence. Let's talk about this. In The Guardian today, you can be able to see a little, Candia actually put something together. It says, over the Hill constituencies in New Providence had the lowest voter turnout on the May 12th general election, dipping into the 50% range, while several families' island constituencies recorded voter turnout in a higher 70% range. None of the 41 constituencies had a voter turnout that exceeded 77%. In New Providence, the voter turnout was the highest in Kalani with 74%. We expected that, though. We talked about that. We expected that, right? The highest at 74%. This is an increase over the 69% voter turnout in the constituency in 2021. Right? We expected the highest voter turnout in one of the hotly contested seats in the constituency of Kalani, and those persons were activated and they got out there and they vote. In 2026, 1,792 registered voters in Kalani did not vote. Overall voter turnout last week was 67% compared to the 66.8%. Okay, that's the information that we received, 66.8%. Compared to the 65% in 2021, and in an election held as a COVID-19 pandemic was raging. In May 12, 2026, 69,021 registered voters did not vote. Just under 70,000 people did not vote. Let's talk about this. Okay? Let's go to A7. Now let's look at this. And it goes on and says a percentage of what would be the electors. Information provided by the Parliamentary Registration Department shows that in 2026 election, voters' turnout was the lowest in Baintown, which is 60%, and 21 in 2021 to 55% in 2026, and in St. Barnabas from 63% in 2021 to 55% in 2026. The figures show that 2,018 persons in Bain and Grand Town did not vote. 2,165 voters in St. Barnabas votes did not vote. In Centerville, voter turnout was 62% in 2021 and then 59% in 2026. According to the figures, 1,978 voters did not turn out in Centerville last week. In Angliston, voter turnout was about 61% in 2021 and 57% in 2026. Last week, 2,028 people who were registered did not vote. PLP candidates won all of those seats. The PLP, in fact, won 33 seats of the 41 in the House of Assembly. The Free National Movement won the remaining 8 seats. And Barnabas MP Michael Halkidas, who grew up on the Market Street, is Pat calling us. Let's talk about these things. Let me get Pat. Good afternoon, Pat. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Great. Congratulations. I watched you on your splendor the other day, the opening of Parliament.
Dressed right up to the thing. I had a great time.
Man, we came to the ninth, and mommy.
Yeah.
Man.
She called me that night talking about what color you're wearing. Your wife said you're going to be wearing this color. That goes good with my outfit. Wear that necktie. I say, okay, mommy.
No, my twin. Oh, she is your twin.
I say, okay, mommy, no problem, right?
She's your twin.
That's what brought me.
I mean, she looked gorgeous, like a ray of sunshine, nice and very, very, very nice.
We had a great time
I,
for
you
that.
know, yeah, congratulations on you worked very, very hard, and I'm so happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I want you to continue to do well and to prosper and to continue to educate us and stand on truth, as you continue to do. Some may not sometimes like your truth, which you're saying, but continue to stand on that. And once you stand on that, you're gonna be okay.
I can tell you
You
one
and your
thing:
family
the
gonna be
whole,
okay.
but
So you
I gotta say this, and I gotta apologize to Jay, what's his name? Jay Leo Ferguson from Michael. He did come over and hail me. J. Leo Ferguson from Michael and Kala. I'm not Kala. J. Leo Ferguson and Lincoln Deal were the only two that actually
I
even
saw
acknowledged
them.
me. Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that. That was very, very, that was gracious. That was very
yeah,
gracious.
yeah.
I saw that. I saw that. I don't know. Probably people were in the whirlwind and were still in the days and all the excitement and the little bitterness. Some people and even some of the ones who won, they were, I guess fooling, But you did what you were supposed to do.
I can be here. God
I
spare my
enjoyed.
life. God spare my life, Pat. I can be here. This is an independent thing. These people keep asking me
Mm-hmm.
how I get in here. What do you mean how I get in here? This
So
is what
that's
I
why
just
I
do.
call it. That's why I calling this number. That's why I calling you to like now on this platform here. Because you are independent, you can speak. You can speak freely.
That's what
You
I like.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think overall, all of the excitement is over with. Now it's time to get to business.
I agree with you.
Get to the business of the day. I think you will start to read the I don't know if that's the editorial or
No,
to
this
listen
is
to
an
the
article
review.
that Candia put in today, and she started to talk about the breakdown, how the numbers are dipping significantly in the inner city, and how people in the
Yes,
inner
yes, I
city are not
read that.
coming out. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, that was one of the most balanced um articles I've read in a while, and
it's because it's only
it was
factual.
a
You can't dispute this. This is
yeah,
information. So she couldn't put
yeah,
no feelings in it. This is just undeniable information, and we
yeah,
could
yeah.
see why.
I like yes, yes. I like the way she wrote that. I took my time and read that this morning, and I was like, I was pleasantly, because it was really, really,
It was good.
really, really soul searching, and I hope a lot of persons, especially from the opposition side, take the time out to read that because there's so many persons who seem to be so bitter, Howard. It's as if they're going through, I guess, the stages of grief,
They are.
and I guess a huge
You
loss.
know what hurt a lot
But
of
that
people, Pat? Let me tell you what hurt a lot of people. Because of what we saw from 2002, when we had the PLP, then 2007 FNM, then 2012 PLP, and 2017 FNM, then 2021 PLP, there was an expectation that we keep this sort of rhythm. The Free National Movement did not give us their all. This was a C minus at best, D plus electoral campaign for them. If I got to grade them, I give them a C minus at best and D plus, which is an average thing that I'd give them. They presented themselves as a D organization. Now, this ain't a diss. I'm talking about their enthusiasm, their tenacity, the way that they presented themselves, their message, their vision, how they executed that, their campaign. All these things was it was a D. It was poor how the Free National did that. Because I believe, now I can't tell you that this is so, but I could say I believe that it is as a result of the rhythm that existed before. They believe that it's going to be the same thing, FNM, PLP, and some of them expected to win, and they ain't never give us nothing. That's crazy to me. You
yeah,
never show
yeah,
nothing to the
they don't.
Bahamian people.
Yes, with those numbers that she posted, the numbers. Actually look and see the numbers that the coalition gathered is, and then the losing in two constituencies, I think. it was like wake up for them. And the thing is, because I've been hearing since the election from the opposition side, from persons who FNMs, is and especially after Mr. Bannister came out and said he did that interview and he said who he said, right? The way they responded, see, it's not the what these people come out and say, it's the response you get. When I saw how Mr. Pintard, his response to the speech from the throne, he seemed so annoyed and irritated.
How he smack
You
his mouth
know,
too. It's all the same.
yeah, yeah,
Hold on,
right?
cousin. This is too
And then
much.
you hear persons on the attack. They're saying to, and they lost a lot of their people. They pushed out a lot of their people. FNN's hardcore, because you were telling, you were preaching this straight through.
I tell them no, them they don't
You
listen.
know, and yet they're still now they're blaming Dr. Minnis, they're blaming their own people, their own persons who built their party, who put blood, sweat, and tears in their party. They're trying to, instead of them reaching and outreach, extending an olive branch.
That's the lousiest thing I ever
Saying
see in
that,
my life, Pat.
yes, doing something like that and come,
That's
I guess they give,
it's
I guess they need
lazy.
more time to grieve, but they need their base.
Pat, let's
They
talk
need
about
their
this now.
base.
Let's talk about this. The first thing Hubert Ingram said when he came back out and touched the paper, by the way, I hail Hubert Ingram. You see me hail him, I hail him. I say, Ingram. He looked at me and then he said, I laughed so much, Pat. I swear. I wasn't even offended. Like I wasn't mad. Why are you mad, Ingram?
Hold
Stop it.
on.
So, Hubert
Hello.
Ingram come in the paper. Go ahead, Pat. Hubert Ingram come in the paper. Let me say this, right? Right after the election, he said that he believes that the party is still suffering from the Minnis era, right? Hubert Ingram had a significant hand in who was chosen. Now, he may not have chosen everyone, but he had a say because they respect his opinion significantly in the Free National Movement. He had a say as to who would come and who would go. More than half of Minnis' cabinet was chosen in this electoral cycle. More than half of Minnis' cabinet, including the leader, the deputy leader, and the chairman. Leader, deputy leader, and chairman, all three of them, in this particular capacity. Okay? They find themselves in this position, they're doing all these things, and then bang a line. All of a sudden now, after you lose, we suffer. You didn't think about that before you put these people and ratified them and gave them these nominations?
But Howard, I'm glad you brought that up because he's saying that as if it's the residue or the residuals from Dr. Minnis is the part like the residual from the last when he was in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I agree. It left a very bitter taste, and that taste, some of us still remain in the Bahamian people's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
So much so we had Abaco. We had the twins were living in Abaco in Lutra again. Okay, the thing is, what Mr. Ingram did not realize and take into consideration when he made the statement post-election is the fact that yes, Dr. Minnis, he suffered his political, as far as with the defeat. But it was not, people still didn't just look at Dr. Minnis. Mr. Pintard was a part of that cabinet. Mr. Hanfield was a part of that cabinet. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All of those persons who lost, Shannon, he was the chairman. He was the Lords and Regents and Power. But all of them, Mr. Pintard is strong in Marco City. He's a good representative, and it paid off. But that issue, when with that blame game, that blame
They
game.
got to stop this in the
And
Free
even
National
with
movement. They keep doing that.
even with Mr. Pental's strength in Marco City, it
Yeah.
still wasn't strong enough to build the confidence in the remaining 2 seats in Grand Bahama or the wider Bahamas. And that is what I think Mr. Ingram failed to think about when he made this statement and whatever. So God, the F&M has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
They have a lot of
I mean, I can
searching to
leave.
do,
I
and
can
they
leave
have
the
to-
Free National movement to themselves. They're gonna have to make their own decisions as the next steps.
No,
That's
the
gonna
same
happen.
as you forgot when
They gotta do better than this.
Mr. Christie got decimated, when the PLP were down to right down to the ground. They had to go deep. They had to go and Mr. God rest his dead, Mr. Galanis, Reynard Rigby and the team. They had to go and do a whole and now they had to go and start over a whole. They have to upgrade the Constitution. There's so many things that they had to do to get to right and and come back again. But like I said, I want now going forward. I want the leader of the country to continue to govern. And there's going to be some decisions that he's going to make and have to make, as all leaders do, going forward in this country. Some hard decisions. Sometimes it may be right in his grouping or whatever have you. You understand? You got to do. It's going to be a lot of hard work. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And so he's going to have to make some decisions. Going forward in whatever issues or whatever. It's not going to be the party on whatever the big celebration that it was on Wednesday. This is going to be hard governance, and I hope these persons that he is preparing and getting ready to take over the leadership of this country, the whole team, the younger persons that are attached. I hope they remain focused, stay on the ground, get your people, build a strong team. A continuous team on that ground, stay in touch with the people, continue to to build the youth arms. You understand? For the further development and betterment of this country. That's all I really wanted to say. And,
I appreciate you, Pat.
Continue to do it, okay?
Thank you so well. I do appreciate you, my dear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's none other than Pat. Pat, you have a good weekend, eh? Enjoy yourself. See you later. Guys, if you want to be able to give us a call, I'd love you to do so. Hit me up, 827-0111, 827-0111. We are in Grand Bahama, Dove 103.7 in Grand Bahama. And we're also here across social media, 242, Foundation 242, Foundation 242, Foundation242.com. You can be able to check us out in those particular areas. You see this beautiful woman on the side of me. This is my mother. This is my mother. Say good afternoon, people.
Hello to everyone.
So talk to me about it. You're here now, so
Yes.
and you're talking politics. Now I know you don't want to talk politics.
No.
But this is what I just do. So you sit in this chair. We can talk politics. The Grand Bahamians. First and foremost, you got to tell the Grand Bahamians that supported the Progressive Liberal Party. After you would have made that strong move, more specifically in West Grand Bahama, and assisted with choosing progress, you got to be able to talk to them and tell them thank you, because there was a great deal of people who call me and reach out to me. Have it, child, when they always put a V in my name. Let's be very clear about it, right? Have it, baby. What they call you, Verna, right?
Verna.
Listen, we can change the thing. We can take it for what it is, right?
Verna.
So they said to me, have it. Baby, when your mother made that move, Jesus, we wasn't sure what we was going to do. But my God, when your mother made that move, we say, it's time to choose progress. Talk to me about that.
Well, I'm grateful that I have that kind of influence on those persons.
You never know until you throw your hand.
Well, that's true. That's true. Those persons who would have made a decision based upon my decision, I'm grateful that you saw the need to also choose progress. And I'm glad, and I'm sure all of those who chose progress are glad that they have. And we're only looking for better things to happen going forward.
What we can do as it relates to better, I think we would have seen this already in West Grand Bahama more specifically, even under when you were in leadership capacity, that you didn't have sort of leeway, access, opportunity. The leadership of the Free National Movement still had these sort of parameters and not necessarily giving you full carte blanche to do what we believe needs to be done in West Grand Bahama. We've seen that with Pakisha in her particular capacity, still being able to be restricted despite the fact that she had eventually found herself in a ministerial position. We saw with Kingsley, the Prime Minister, being able to make a significant commitment to the Bahamian people that through West Grand Bahama you could expect so forth and so on. And now Kingsley's acquired and retained this particular position and this seat even after a fight, a push, a tug and a pull. What can we expect now, and how will you, in your capacity, assist with not just being able to choose progress, but the sustaining of progress there from here on in?
8 Mile Rock, being one of the largest communities, is not very easy to manage. First of all, I believe that Mr. Smith is going to have a strong team around him to ensure that he... touch me up, baby. Touch me up. That he is going to be able to do the work that is required for the 8 Mile Rock district, for the West End district. I mean, we're talking from Hebburn Town all the way to the very tip of West End. So hoping that in working along with Mr. Smith, that some of the information, the expertise, some of the requirements, listening to the community for some of the things that needs to happen, that he would gather the right people around him, along with myself, I hope.
Let's talk about
to do
that.
the work.
Where do you see yourself serving? We know Grand Bahama has gone through economic deprivation. We have suffered these things. Even from 2004, from Francis and Jane, we hadn't really caught ourselves. In 2007, when you had an opportunity in 8 Mile Rock proper, there was a desire to be able to revive in certain areas. Like I said, there was a restriction. Leadership at the time had different focus. Their focus was on Nassau. Right. Unfortunately, right? And some of the family islands were neglected as a result of that. Grand Bahama, 8 Mile Rock was one of those. And some of the times I feel like the Free National Movement takes for granted Grand Bahamians, that the Grand Bahamian people will follow us. The Grand Bahamian people will support us despite, but not necessarily lending the kind of support that's needed post-election that we require when we put you in this particular seat. So let's talk about that. Where do you see in 8 Mile Rock and West Grand Bahama from, maybe from Hebburn Town now? Hebburn Town to West End. Where do you see that there will be this sort of support that you can offer for some area of deprivation, whether that's economic, whether that's social, whether that, what it is? What do you see you doing to be able to assist right now?
Oh my God, there's a variety of things that I can do. There's a variety of things that can be done. I think lending advice is probably going to be the first thing. And then hopefully Mrs. Smith will be receptive enough to understand those who would have come before him, who have a better idea of some of the weaknesses, some of the strengths of the community. And so I feel like I can fit in advice first and foremost, to let him know what is truly happening on the ground, what has happened and what may be able to happen going forward. Our community lacks employment. Our community lacks a lot of, things that are essential, like clothing stores, shoe shops, some of the essential things that people can just bring back into the community. I remember when we were growing up, we had Park and Shop. We had...
in 8 Mile Rock?
Yeah. The Park and Shop started in 8 Mile Rock in West Grand Bahama. That's where it started. Yeah, right by...
Friendship?
Not the Friendship Shopping Center. Friendship Shopping Center actually bloomed as a result of everyone having that focus.
I didn't
in
know
it.
this, you know.
You didn't know that?
You never tell me this. You never tell me the Park and Shop was in 8 Mile Rock.
Yes, that's where that's as far as I know. That's where it started. The jewelry shop, George's Jewelry Shop, was in 8 Mile Rock, right by the big tree.
You serious?
J.S. Johnson started in 8 Mile Rock.
Wow.
Crown Insurance was in 8 Mile Rock.
I remember J.M. Pender had an insurance company right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Anything else?
Star Insurance
Star
started in
Insurance.
8 Mile
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah,
So there
yeah.
was 8 Mile Rock used to be blooming. I mean, it was before Freeport opened its doors fully to the outskirts, the people who wanted to invest who were locals. We were the mega place. I mean, we had a Super Value in West End. Was it Super Value or City Market?
In West End.
Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie was in West End at the hotel. And also, Royal Bank of Canada was there. Barclays was there. We had a lot of things happening in West Grand Bahama. And so one of the things that I'm hoping that the economy of West Grand Bahama grows so that we can invite those people who would have left us years ago to come back.
This administration is having good conversations about the idea of being able to pour in significant contributions and focus on entrepreneurialism. They're talking about innovation. They're talking about, you see that we have an entire Ministry of Innovation
Yes.
and National Development with Sebastian in that particular capacity. And so there is significant conversations about what should happen and how do we empower young people? How do we empower these particular persons? So this kind of a conversation is good. I think that the PLP administration needs to be able to look more and concentrate on areas that were bustling at one point. We heard Michael Pintard say that he's going to eradicate or get rid of the this sort of an archaic position, and I surmise that he didn't say it strategically like this, but he's going to get rid of this sort of an idea of the bank. That's your phone?
Could be.
Right? So he's going to get rid of this bank, right?
From the post office?
From the post office. Mm-hmm. And now we saw the Prime Minister kind of fortify a position and indicate that this is what's going to happen. We're going to take care of this. We're going to reintroduce this sort of a concept. We're going to create an opportunity for persons in Long Island, persons all over the country to be able to find their way again, to be able to do banking in their constituencies, in their particular spaces. Talk to me about that.
Well, you know, I was just getting ready to open up an account at the post office, so I'm glad that it was intercepted.
Hillary just opened up an account there.
Yes.
Hillary just opened up an account there.
Yeah, your daughter, yes, of course. And a lot of young people have found that that is an avenue to take their monies that they're making and invest, or at least to save to begin with. So taking that away from the younger people especially would have been a terrible, terrible disadvantage. And so I am glad, I thank God that that didn't materialize. But we've had a Bank of the Bahamas in 8 Mile Rock, which has left.
You say had. They have.
Had.
It was right there in the corner.
It's gone.
I didn't know that. Well, I haven't been home to know these things.
You weren't really paying attention.
No.
But the Bank of the Bahamas left Freeport, left 8 Mile Rock maybe about 7 years now. 8, maybe longer, I don't know.
So there is a relentless concentration in being able to push people back into the city of Freeport to do business.
Right. Instead of really targeting specific areas of the community, particularly 8 Mile, because we have all of the necessary utilities to accommodate any investment.
Any business.
Any kind of business.
Well, what has happened, and then this is something I suppose that you could be able to, we could have this kind of a conversation with this administration. What has happened with this arbitration? What has happened with the acquisition of the Grand Bahama Power Company? What has happened is that we could see, not necessarily a line in the sand, but we could see that this administration has a desire to empower its people, to empower all of us in these areas.
Yes.
There needs to be hubs, governmental, economic, otherwise, in these areas, in these communities, that could be able to restart the engine, the economic engine in these particular areas, that the government doesn't necessarily have to create and pour so much money into infrastructural development and all these things. Once you create a hub and people know I could go there for something, then next thing you know, I build in something on the side of that.
Right.
And then the community expand like that. So I think that they need to look at things like that.
Yes. You know, there was discussion of having the commerce, the Chamber of Commerce come into the 8 Mile Rock or the West End District so that they can create that business aspect and persons can be channeled into working along with the Commerce Department so that we can start the investment, start
I
that
like it.
process in the West End 8 Mile Rock area.
like it.
And I think that still should be going on. I think they should still reenact that. If it hasn't started, that they need to really put some foot on that so that can start walking and doing some things in 8 Mile Rock, in West Grand Bahama. Now, we have 2 gas stations in West Grand Bahama. We have Texaco and we have Chappies. You have to go all the way to through the entire community of West Grand Bahama.
Dexter and Dwight still just have the thing open every day.
Whenever,
all day?
no, not every day, all day. Only when they feel like it, I guess. So you have to go to West End, almost to the dock, to get gas.
You serious?
I'm telling you. And if
You
you see,
serious?
if you see Texaco closes one day because of whatever, or they run out of gas, you have to go to Freeport.
If you could make it there, because
If you can make it.
you only get $5 gas, and you got.
$5 is only spit in the tank. That
If
ain't
you
no
can make
money.
it to Freeport,
That ain't no gas.
You better
these
sit
days.
down and wait until they open back.
Yeah, so I'm saying if we can get a Chamber of Commerce, we can sit down and talk to people who would like to invest in 8 Mile. We have tons and tons of land in West Grand Bahama. What are we doing with it? What is going to happen eventually? How are we going to spread the wealth to those who have the monies or the capital to start businesses? A lot of people want to return home, but they have no land to go and build their homes on because a lot of the land is owned by generations. And so
The
there
government
has
actually
to
dealt
be,
with that, though. You know that, right?
I'm hearing that
This
it is
administration
making some
has.
changes.
They have gone to Gambia, they've gone to Fox Hill, they've gone to Moores Island, they have gone to parts of Eleuthera, I think. I think that they've been in Exuma, but they have Monique started to be able to do this in East
In
Grand
East
Bahama.
Grand Bahama, yeah.
By being able, well, we say Monique not to get Monique in problems, but we say this is what has happened. The office of the Prime Minister who's responsible for lands in this country. The Prime Minister has identified being able to shift the land that persons were living on generationally and being able to give you an actual title for that land. I talked to
Yes.
Keith Bell, who is now Minister with responsibility to land reform in the country. He's the Minister of Housing and Land Reform in our country.
I remember just before we had closed in 2012 at the House of Assembly that the land adjudication bill was laid on the table, but we never debated it. We never went through it, and that was under Hubert Ingram. And I had raised a question about it because we personally have a lot of generation property that we want to have clear title for. And I was hoping in those days, which is 2012 or prior to, that we would have had enough information to solve some of the generational properties concerns and persons who had concerns to get it resolved. And I'm praying that they get into the 8 Mile Rock district or the
They will.
West End district
They will.
so that
Keith Bell and
we
I
can
already
have it.
had a conversation about
Yeah.
it. We spoke on the rundown, and he said, Howard, I can definitely do that. And now we see from an official standpoint that the Prime Minister has given him the title of land reform in the country, so he
Okay.
will be responsible for that.
That's
I already
good.
explained to him that 8 Mile Rock need to get fixed. He said, okay, Howard.
Yes.
I said, hey,
Yeah, I mean, that.
we need to get straight in 8 Mile Rock. We see you
And
there in
West
Holmes
Grand-
Rock and Mose Island. We love these people,
Yeah.
but come down 8 Mile Rock.
Yeah. And do you know West End proper has that problem too?
Of course.
And when Ginsumer came in, there was a lot of dispute as to who owned the land and where the land stops and how Gin acquired so much land and XYZ. And so I think there needs to be a sober conversation regarding how land is going to be allocated going forward, because you are the new generation of us. And it is important for you to know where your stakes will be laid.
If I won't
Because
come back
we can't-
home. Because there's so many persons out here who are paying rent, who leasing and who, I don't know, some people might even have mortgages elsewhere.
Yeah.
It ain't nobody can come in 8 Mile Rock and build where we got to pay, or in West Grand Bahama or any place, and pay to build there and have to pay to live over here too. That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah.
We ain't making that kind of money.
Yeah. Well,
So if we have land that we could be able to say, this is my land, then everything that we make, we could send over there to develop. We could make it, send it over there to develop. But if we have to pay for 2 spaces, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And that's why persons are not investing in their particular space. You understand? I can't pay the bank for a house in Grand Bahama and pay to live in Nassau, because this is where the economic engine is. This is how I make my money to take care of my family. But I still want to be able to have roots in Grand Bahama. This bill would afford persons an opportunity to be able to, whenever you have an opportunity, you could invest home. Whenever you have an opportunity, you could invest home. Even if you build something, buy one of them Chinese something, and put it there to do a little Airbnb or something like that, you could start to be able to create income like that.
but you know what is most important is after the hurricanes took place and we were devastated, and every leaf on every tree was torn off, was then when we realized that people were squatting on your land.
We didn't know that.
No.
Didn't we see somebody on our land?
Yes.
And we say, hey, 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 hey.
But I'm saying people are still doing that today, you know. And they're doing quiet title. They're doing quiet titles because a lot of them have been there for more than 10, 15 years. And you don't know because you're not utilizing the land because one thing or another. And people are coming and squatting on the land, been there forever. Because you're not walking your land, you don't know. And in 5, 10 years, when you're ready to build, because you would have collected sufficient funds to start,
You can start now.
you realize you don't have
You
no
land
land.
somebody's
on
on your
it.
land.
How do you reacquire your land? Because
Somebody
they got
on
it
your
through
land.
quiet title.
Yeah. Yeah, these are some things to be able to consider. I like how you're fluid in this, Mummy. I think that these are great conversations to happen and
Yep.
to have. I like how there's sort of an openness, and I'm hoping that a lot of persons understand that there is room to be able to do these things. Your advocacy, your agitation, your focus in these areas don't require you to be a part of any political organization.
No.
You are part of the community. We got to do something.
And it affects
agitate.
me.
I love the fact that we're having a conversation about the potential of being able to bring a Chamber of Commerce to West Grand Bahama. I
Yeah.
love the fact that we're looking at these things to be able to formalize our position. For a very long time, we've sat in these kind of positions we're just looking on at what's happening in Freeport, looking on at what's happening in Nassau. But it's time for us to be able to get ourselves in a proper position.
Yes.
Gin Sumar seems like, let's just be very clear, Gin Sumar seems as though that they're going to be able to kind of re-energize.
I don't know if it's going to be under
I'm
the
hearing some
same-
things. No, it ain't gonna be the same name, but I'm hearing that some people, we ain't gonna call these people names, because you know I didn't know, right? You know too. You should have known also. But it seems as though that there are companies and groupings that wants to be able to re-energize the project and significantly pour into billions, I hear, in billions into West Grand Bahama. And so we like that. We like that kind of a concept and idea. But I believe that there needs to be a cultural liaison between corporations and community. I just want to be very
Yes,
clear with that. There needs to be
definitely.
a cultural liaison between corporate and not just that. It doesn't just concentrate in West Grand Bahama. It's the whole of Grand Bahama. I
Yeah.
just want to be able to be very clear with you.
Yes, that's
the
true.
problems that we're having with the Port Authority, especially after the death and sort of transition off the scene of Edward St. George and Jack Haywood, is there seems to be token management. No, I just want to be decent. I don't want to talk bad about people. I want to be decent, right? My mother here, so let me be decent, right? Listen,
Yeah.
it seems to be token leadership. I just want to be decent with you. There is a desire for you to be able to be effective because you know the community. But when you sit in an elevated position, you conform to a company man. We ain't gonna fight you. We ain't gonna fight you for your, I got to keep a job. We're not gonna fight you for that. But there still is a gap, there is a void, there is a gulf that exists here, and we're not seeing activity. There needs to be a cultural liaison that we could be able to say to corporations, to governments, to entities, this is what is required by the community. This is the agitation for the community. And you would believe that that is your member of parliament,
Yeah.
but that ain't your member of parliament. You need somebody to do that. The member of parliament is the government.
Well, that's true. That's true, because the magnitude of what needs to be done cannot be done from that local level only. It has to be collaborative with the central government, with the powers that be, to make the changes that is necessary. Because right now, what needs to be done in West Grand Bahama and East Grand Bahama requires a conscious and deliberate attempt to fix some of the problems that we have been going through for years and years and years, before my time, certainly. And I see where it is happening, where the talk is happening to make these things happen. But you have to put the right people in place who can consistently work on it and see some fruit from what they're planting. So that's my hope and prayer.
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to give us a call, you can do that, 827-0111, 827-0111. I'm going to take this quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to dive a little bit more into these particular things. You know, we're going to be out of here before 2 o'clock. But we're listening. If you're listening in, guys, make sure you like and share on Foundation 242. You could see us. Or if you're listening in at the radio in Grand Bahama, Dove 103.7, just make sure you let persons know that we're here. We're having great conversations and we're talking about those particular things. Let's see if I can be able to read a text before we get out of here for commercial. It says the Free National Movement is still suffering from the Minist error, E-R-R-O-R, not E-R-A. Minist rejected Ingram. He said that his era was over and he can't deal with rejection. That is why he resigned rather than face Christie and the PLP and teasing in the House of Assembly after the election loss. Well, we're going to talk about it when we get back, dive into these particular conversations. Quick break, guys. Going to be right back after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the foundation with Howard Grant here, jamming with you. I'm sitting with my mother. I know you guys are looking and say, who are these two people is? People call us twins sometimes. They're just a little wider. Praise Jesus. Don't fight me. So my mother here, me being able to talk about these things, she's made a significant move in being able to choose progress. I take more flack for it. The people cuss me out. How I get in that? Jesus, I don't understand. How you could cuss my... You can't find my mother say, cuss me? How I get in that? Huh? I just sit here talk to you all every day, talk to his friend. But you cuss me for my mother. But she made a very strong decision, and I think the entire country made a decision, 140,000 people voting, and 66, almost 67% of that voting populace chose progress. And it was a very strong thing. Talk to me about that, Mommy. Talk to me about the sort of an idea of choosing progress, and what do you see now in Grand Bahama?
Well, first of all, I think that title or the name Choose Progress was so on point.
Stella, go ahead.
It was stellar. It was wonderful to think. I mean, almost in every conversation, the word progress is just so easy to come off your mouth. And I believe that in Grand Bahama, we can really see some progress happening. Yes, okay, the airport needs to be fixed, and that's one of the things we want. The hospital isn't where we want it to be. But guess what? They are working on getting it done, and they are working on the new hospital, and they are also, ever since Carnival Celebration Key came on stream, we have traffic jam in Grand Bahama. We never had that before. No,
I think you're blown it out of proportion. You're doing
No.
too much. Traffic jam in Grand Bahama.
Traffic jam.
Where?
Hey,
100
of course.
miles of road.
I'm
Y'all
telling
can't
you,
go around.
No. So can you imagine if we have 100 miles of road in Grand Bahama and we having traffic jam? That means that some progress is happening in Grand Bahama.
I like it.
I love the fact that when you go downtown, where it used to be like a graveyard, it's hustle and bustle now.
Yeah.
You're getting, people are in your way now. Horns are blowing, cars are saying, get out of the way. So obviously something is happening. And it wasn't happening under the F&M. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, but it wasn't happening.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But now,
With the
in
Governor
the
General,
past,
with the Governor General, the Deputy Prime Minister,
everybody, all on them.
ministers, members of Parliament. I mean, they had the whole hog
Yeah.
in Grand Bahama. 5 of them.
Yes.
The whole hog. And they did absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And that's distasteful. Because what excuse can you make to say to the people, we couldn't? Hello? You were the authority. You had every opportunity. The Deputy Prime Minister, come on now. We're talking about the Minister of Agriculture, who I would have sat under, which is Leader for the Opposition, Pintard. I sat with him, under him, as the ambassador for the Food and Agricultural Organization. And I can't tell you what we did in the 2 years that we worked together. There was a lot of talk, of course, but I saw no action. We have land upon land that can be developed. Okay, you're saying that in the next 5 years, we have to be food independent, independent, not to rely on the import of food in our country. And at the end of the day, no land cleared down, no animals, no livestock, no produce, no nothing, no aqua ponds, no nothing that I'm aware of has been done to show people that you mean progress. But Prime Minister Davis fixed that. He has not started the aqua pond or the aqua agriculture yet, but I believe in short order, Grand Bahama is going to see some real progress in food security. And I'm looking forward to that because we need it. The country needs it. There's no reason why we should be spending millions of dollars on imports when we have the capacity to do that here in our own country.
We have the capacity of being able to feed ourselves, especially from an agricultural standpoint. Pintaut continues to be able to talk about it.
Yes.
We believe that this administration, with strategic leadership in place, will be able to move towards it. It is time to empower our people. It is time for us to be able to move significantly. It is time not just to be able to choose progress, but to sustain that and
Yes.
find it upward movement
Right.
in those particular areas.
Yes,
Mom, you did
yes.
well today. I want to thank you for being able to be here with me.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my mother.
Hello.
She is sitting down talking with me on these days.
Yeah.
I won't get in no problems. I just be a little.
Hi, Howard.
I won't get in no problems. Howard is my daddy. To be clear, eh?
Howard Senior.
is my daddy. All right, praise God.
My husband.
Right. So he don't come out to these things.
Oh,
He
no.
listening to me though. He right there listening to me every day. Boy, I listen to you today. Why you had that pen like that? Why you write with a pink pen? Jesus Christ, boy. I'm telling
He
you.
has a problem with
I'm
your
telling
pink.
you. Why you writing with the pink pen? The pen pink. Daddy, relax, all right? The other thing, right? So that's that. I want to thank you guys so very kindly for being able to be here with us today. Guys, you tuned in Grand Bahama on Dove 103.7 FM. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank all those particular persons. I'm glad to have this kind of a conversation. I want to have a concentrated conversation of what should happen in the Family Islands. I want to be
Yes.
able to talk about the reform, possible reform of being able to see local government being able to strengthen itself. I think after it's in the introduction and the development thereof, it has become extremely political. And I think a lot of persons have forgotten its true course and the core and the essence of what it was called to do, and being able to ensure that we could be empowered in our communities.
Yes.
Conversations like what we were having about being able to see the Chamber of Commerce, conversations like that is the type of stuff that we need to be able to see coming out of our communities, as opposed to being able to see more of the FNM, PLP in the confines of the actual forward movement and organization of our spaces. So we're hoping to see that. I think I can have a couple shows about it.
Yeah, that would be good. Particularly because the outer islands sometimes feel isolated, like nobody's really
That's where
listening and checking.
the coin of Nassau centricity has come from.
Yeah.
And I, what is a poor thing. I'm going to be very clear with you. Political organizations, and more specifically because of our former affiliation with the Free National Movement, we know that there has been a sense of Nassau centricity, not necessarily from a governmental standpoint. It starts right in the political organizations. And that is why, look, she ain't getting this, I can say this to you. That is why I believe that the next dispensation of leadership in the Free National Movement should be someone who's able to pull people together.
Yeah.
There are so
Definitely.
many people who have left the. Don't call me. I just want to be very clear. Don't call me.
Yes.
I have already made my choice into that. Right? But there are so many people who have left the organization, who feel disenfranchised, who feel slighted, who feel rejected by the organization, who has a great deal of talent. You keep telling me about this expansive tent that you have that seems to be shrinking by the day.
Yes.
It seems to be shrinking by the day.
Yes.
You need to re-engage people who still have a love for your organization, because we need the Free National Movement for the sake of democracy. Let's just be very clear. We need an organization that could hold the feet of the government to the fire and to ensure that they don't go, ramshot and do what they desire. You need to focus and commit yourself to growth and development for the country, and recommit yourself to the people of the Bahamas.
Yes.
I want to be able to say
Has
that.
to be done
I want to thank
early.
you so very kindly for that, guys.
Early.
I can see you all later, man.
Bye-bye.
We can see you on
See you
Tuesday.
later.
On
Yes.
Tuesday, because Monday is a
holiday.
holiday. All right. So enjoy your holiday. Have a great weekend. Take your little sweet thing in the can out. Last night we had an opportunity, with the grace of a babysitter. We had a beautiful babysitter being able to watch our children.
Jesus.
My wife and I was able to go watch a little bit of The Devil Wears Prada 2. Take a little sweet thing in the can to go watch something, do something nice, care for some Kong salad or something like that. I guess just be decent. Just be decent. Do something nice over the weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Move with sobriety. We're going to see you on Tuesday. God spare our lives right here on
The foundation.
First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God. I thank God.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 104.5 FM, 1540 AM, 810 AM, all around the universe. My God, it's a beautiful day. Grateful to be in your company. It's a Friday evening. Bim, warm and easy selector, doing our thing, being able to make these things happen out there. I am so grateful to be in your company. So grateful to be with you. Guys, make sure you check me out. We on foundation242.com, foundation242.com. I got to thank a few people who have been jamming with me and being able to move forward. I got to thank Albert Capern with Elnet Maritime being able to assist us to show up on Wednesday. I told you all that, but I got to be able to do that. So I want to thank him. I want to thank Mr. Pinnock also for being able to assist us in those areas and kind of making some things happen for us. So I'm grateful for that. I got to be able to thank him. I got to thank my girl. My God, she's been absolutely wonderful for us. Cocoa Plum Wellness. Cocoa Plum Wellness, hydrocolonic. Listen, this is amazing stuff. I told you my wife did it one time, not to get you in her business, but I have to be able to give you some testament. I was scared to do it because, you know, as a man, praise God, we could be able to get some things, right? But we're here, we're jamming, we're talking to you the way that we are and being able to make these things happen. But you got to go down to Cocoa Plum Wellness This is Dr. Teresa. She's in the One West Plaza. Call me, find out the numbers, find out all the information. 827-0111. We can be able to do that. There's some great things happening out here. I got to introduce you to my mother. She's sitting down here with me for 2 seconds. She said, I gotta go, baby. I gotta go. But I got to let you know that she here. Just say good afternoon to the people out there. Let them know.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. How are ya?
She here in the land of progress.
Oh,
My
yes.
God.
Hey.
Hey! She came for the opening, and so she stayed with me for a couple of days. Or she's staying here.
Yeah.
Hopefully she stayed a couple more. You staying with me this weekend?
If
She ain't got nothing
if
to
the
do.
price is right.
She ain't got nothing to do. She can stay here with me and watch the children. Praise Jesus.
You don't want me to stay with you. You want me to be the babysitter.
She's here. I want to thank you so very kindly for that. Talk to me. Say good afternoon to the persons who are out there, and let them know what you've been doing over the past few days.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. I have been relaxing. I have been visiting some of my grandchildren here, which I thank God I was able to see them. But I really haven't been doing a lot. My husband, I hope he isn't listening, because he'll be saying, if you ain't doing nothing, sweet girl, why are you over there?
I said, come home.
You need to come home. But I think this is just my opportunity to unwind and to relax with friends and family. I have my friend here who is visiting also, Inez, we call her Brenda Davis, and she's from Mose Island by way of Grand Bahama.
Amen.
But we're just having a good time, and I thank God for the opportunity.
How'd you enjoy the opening on Wednesday?
Oh yes, I enjoyed it. It was beautiful. It was absolutely.
And the speech from the throne.
The speech from the throne, wonderful. Mother Pratt or Gigi, the Governor General, Her Excellency, has always been one who has inspired me. And I thank God for the opportunity that He's given her. Because I was able to serve with her in the House of Assembly during the time of 2007 to 12. And I got to see a part of her that was an excellent part of her, and her ability to speak in such a fluent and precise way that brought clarity to the plans and the aspirations of the government was commendable. It was commendable. I'm really looking forward, particularly in Grand Bahama, to all the things that the speech from the throne has advised us of, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, the speech from the throne has spoken directly about some initiatives that's going to be happening in the family violence. One of the things that the administration or the New Day administration has been working on is land reform, and now you're seeing them being able to identify that more strategically in the person of Minister Keith Bell with responsibility for land reform, so housing and land reform.
Right.
And he'd already started it. He started some great stuff in Mose Island. He started some great stuff here in Gambia. He started some stuff in Fox Hill. We've seen some stuff happening in East Grand Bahama, and we know the position that exists for us in West Grand Bahama and throughout the entire space. And wherever you are in the Bahamas, whether you're in Andros, whether you're in Long Island, you may sit on some generational property also. It's time for us to be able to formalize this, and I want to be able to commend the government. I know that you said in 2012 you were dealing with the land adjudication, never got to it. This administration has taken on this kind of position, and this could be one of the most empowering things.
Yes.
Beyond being able to put money in people's hands. It gives you solidification. It gives you identity in the banks, in these particular institutions.
It gives you heritage.
It gives you heritage.
That's the most important.
This is a wonderful thing, and we want to be able to encourage the government to be able to push forward with that. Guys, I know y'all want to jam with me and continue to be able to do that. My mother ain't gonna be here. She says she can right now. So I just wanted to say hello to you guys, and I want you guys to be able to join in conversation with me today, so we can be able to do that. 827-0111. 827-0111. I know you want to talk a little bit about that, so let's take this quick commercial break and get right back after this.
I thank God. First and foremost, I gotta thank God.